Hi guys, David here, and I just want to talk to you really briefly about success in exercise, success in fitness. How long should it take to become successful? And if I'm not being successful, my body's not moving, what the hell's going on? And the challenge is, of course, there's lots of variables, and we'll go through a few of them really quickly here today because I don't want to, there's so much to get into, but some possibilities for you to think about. A real big one is sleep, and this is something that I'm a bit guilty of not getting enough sleep. I know a lot of my counterparts here are also very guilty of not getting enough sleep. And the challenge of not getting enough sleep is that it actually can drive overeating. It can drive snacking because being fatigued, of course, our brain's tired because it hasn't got enough rest, and the brain runs off sugar. So the tendency is that the brain can actually spike these cravings for more glucose and send you off scurrying for food at all different times of the day. So, and again, lack of sleep also can bring cortisol levels up, and we know that high levels of cortisol can cause weight gain as well. Cortisol also comes up when we're under high levels of stress for long periods of time, and any sort of stress can drive up cortisol levels. Even good stress, right? Not only distress, but just anything that takes the body out of its normal homeostasis is a form of stress. So being able to control stress is really important. Now, the one thing about exercise is what? Exercise is a form of stress. It feels good when we're doing it because it drops all the hormone levels down. We're not so crazy in the moment. But again, it's just a form of stress. And if we're not sleeping and we're not eating properly and recovering, then of course exercise isn't only so beneficial. Eventually, it'll just be one more thing that's kind of kicking our butt and making us feel bad, right? So exercise only works if we're eating properly, sleeping well. So again, getting back to the whole sleep thing, right? Lack of sleep can drive up cortisol levels. High levels of stress can drive up cortisol levels. Exercising too much can also drive up cortisol levels, right? So there's that fine balance between exercising hard and recovery, which is why we have a 3-day program, and we're not asking people to train 7 days a week, with strength training and circuit training, and not asking people to train an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. It's just not effective. Train hard, recover fully, and make sure all your ducks are in a row. So we look at sleep, getting adequate levels of sleep. I don't have to tell you how many hours you're supposed to get. You know the answer to that already. And if you've been chronically chronically sleep deprived, it'll take you some time, and I'm talking several months before your body gets back in a normal biorhythm. So today's a great day to start, and it's just you have to adjust your world and how you do things. You may ask for help. I need to ask for help for certain things. You may need to drop things out of your schedule. But you got to plan it. I mean, because you are important. If this thing shuts down, where else are you going to live, right? This is the only thing that's going to make you run your life and allow you to enjoy the world around you. So we know that sleep is an issue. We know that training powerfully is really important. Train with accuracy. If you train with accuracy and you train with intensity, you don't have to train with so much frequency. Right? Does that make sense? Train with intensity, train with accuracy, but so you don't have to train with so much frequency. So you can train 3 or 4 days a week with a great amount of intensity and accuracy, and it means that you don't have to be hammering it every single day because you're afraid that if you don't, your body's going to get fat, right? And when you make those conclusions, what's your proof? How did you come to that decision? Was it just basically out of fear, or do you have a degree in exercise physiology? Chances are it's just a fear-driven motive. And ask yourself, is it the truth, or am I just afraid? And what am I afraid of? So I think when we start breaking down these pieces, we start to realize that we have intelligence and we should use it and look at the proof of what's happening. Right? Training more does not necessarily does not necessarily guarantee your success. Training with a greater accuracy and with intensity will more likely increase your success than training 7 days a week all out. Look at the dietary piece, of course, getting into dietary regularity. And we know, again, it takes weeks and months for the body to really move back into a sync of learning how to adjust to the new food supply, the new way of eating approximately every 3 hours, having that combination of foods, a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbohydrates, and dietary fat to really control blood sugar. So we have a slow, steady stream of energy coming into the small intestine from the stomach, and we have nice controlled blood sugar, right? So that's really, really important. One, it gives a steady stream of nutrients all throughout the day. Two, of course, controlled levels of insulin minimizes the development of body fat and a whole host of other things. But for a lot of us, it's the body fat that we're concerned about. So having that controlled insulin is really, really important. And we do that by balancing out the food types when we eat about every 3 hours. Water, of course, we know that being dehydrated can reduce your physical strength up by 10%. And it can also impair your ability to burn out body fat really, really effectively, right? So again, hydration is a huge issue. And it may seem like a lot of things to do, a lot of things you got to figure out. Just do one thing at a time. If you're spinning plates, you can't spin 10 plates at a time. Spin one plate at a time, right? So the biggest one is that, of course, let's start exercising, and exercising with intensity and accuracy. Second one, let's look at recovery. Recovery is going to be what? Sleep and diet. So I'd focus on the dietary part secondly, right? So once I'm training properly and with intensity and accuracy, I'd focus on getting my diet set up so I'm eating 5 to 6 times a day, small meals throughout the day, making sure that I'm satiated, that I feel good, that the meal feels good, my brain feels good after I've eaten, and I'm full for about 2.5 to 3 hours. That's step number 2. Step number 3, get the water into your system, right? We're comprised of minerals, protein, and water, right? So make sure that you stay hydrated. So that's step number 3, a third plate to spin. Step number 4, and it's and it's in this order, I guess. Step number 4 would be sleep. Start managing your schedule properly, right? So start looking at your schedule and making sure you're getting about 8 hours of sleep a night. Sounds like a fairy tale in my life, but again, it's something I'm looking forward to, because I know that I don't feel good most days because I'm tired. And I'm tired because I have so much stuff on the go. And if I manage my time properly and ask for help, I'd probably get a lot more sleep. So we all got our stuff we're dealing with. And then of course, looking at dealing with stress, and being able to take time off, and whether just learning how to meditate for 10, 15 minutes at the end of the day. Whether it's going for a walk, it's going for a massage, take the time out and just to slow your mind down. Whether it's just when it's a little bit of goal setting, kind of fantasize about your future, just whatever it takes just to bring your brain into a different place and take time out for you. It really makes a big difference in allowing this beautiful organism we call the human body to kind of to reclaim itself and then just be inspired to go forward for something exciting on the horizon. So incredible! We have an incredible opportunity here to take this 100 trillion cell organism and make it do something phenomenal. One thing I want to mention as well, though, is that if you've been a chronic dieter, you've been off and on with your diet over the years, you've been on the bus, off the bus, on the bus, and this has been a chronic issue. Your body may not believe you in a really big hurry this time around. So if you're struggling, but this is not your first struggle, that's probably why you're struggling now. The body does not believe you, right? It's seen these fits and starts. You really need to dig in, take a deep breath, pull, as they say, pull up your big girl panties and stay with the plan, right? Because again, it's just, we set this up. Whether we knew it consciously or unconsciously, wherever we're at, is what we did. It's our life, our lifestyle. We put the food in our mouth. We did or did not exercise, right? We made those choices and here we are. So it's not a matter of fault finding, it's just a matter of saying, okay, this is my, I created this, now I'm going to clean it up. So remember, just we'll spin one plate at a time. Spin the exercise plate, get that going, right? Spin the dietary plate, get that one going. Spin the water plate, right? Get that one going. Spin the sleep plate, get that one going. Look at the stress plate and get that one going. And learn how to manage these things one at a time. This is what it means to have a lifestyle. So when you do one thing at a time and you become competent at exercise and competent at getting the meals in, you being competent at getting the water and competent at getting your sleep in, and you're consistent, it's no big hairy deal because it's just a part of your lifestyle. But just do one thing at a time rather than trying to shove all these 5 elements into the bucket all one time and hope you manage them. One thing at a time. And again, if you're struggling with your fitness and you've been 3 or 4 weeks into it saying, well, nothing has changed, well, I beg to differ. Probably 100,000 things have changed inside your body. You're just not seeing the outside effect of it yet. Your endocrine system is changing, so the hormone levels are changing. Your tissues are becoming saturated with nutrients because why? You're probably eating more consistently and hopefully you're supplementing a little bit to your diet, so your nutrient levels are coming up a little bit higher. It takes a while. This is a big, complicated machine. And at the end of the day, quitting is not an option. What else are you going to do? You're going to go back to doing what you're doing before? And so sit down and have a look at that and decide where, if you quit now and you get frustrated and we don't grow up to move our body forward, what happens to our health? What happens to the next 10 years of life? Right? What happens to the next 20 years of life? I am so sick in my business of watching people die over a 20 to 30 year period. It makes my heart sick and realizing that we just give up too early. So you cannot give up. There is no way that you can give up at all, right? Anytime you're feeling emotional, let's get over ourselves and get on with living. Get on with this incredible thing we call life and with our beautiful kids, our beautiful friends and this amazing opportunity, right? So we have it here. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't get caught up in old emotional patterns. Don't get caught up in old fears. you're in a place of support. You can do this. You just have to do this. Spin one plate at a time. Okay, and and I'm very passionate about it, and I just want all of you to succeed. And I know all of us here do. So just kind of come on, pull your big girl pants up. Let's get to work. Let's become educated. Let's understand how this thing works, and let's make this machine a beautiful, beautiful machine and a wonderful joy to live in.